Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Whenever this reaches you, however this reaches you, I go by the name Big Papita. Let me get this straight. Sorry for the shaking. But I want to make clear that I'm not a union representative. I'm just a member like you. Today, I want to go over article, which is very important. I have no time to do the usual thing where I do the editing and stuff. I'm just gonna give it to you live, straight from the truck. Article 6, discharge, warnings, and protests. All right. Section 1, discharge and discipline. It is mutually agreed that the employer has the right to discharge or otherwise discipline any employee for just cause. Discipline is intended to be constructive and timely. Discipline must be given within 10 working days of notification or the knowledge or receipt of any governmental agency report, if applicable. Disciplinary write-ups will be cumulative within 5 separate tracks, which shall include accidents. Number 2, general work rules and all other violations. 3, absenteeism and tardiness. Number 4, non-vehicular incidents. And 5, operations liabilities, defined as accidents involving wires, mailboxes, gates, enclosures, bollards, tree limbs, landscaping, and curb beam. Progressive discipline shall follow a 5-step process as outlined below, except that accidents and operations liabilities shall follow a 4-step process and shall bypass the verbal warning. Why didn't I know that? Progressive discipline shall follow a 5-step process as outlined below, except that accidents and operations liability shall follow a 4-step process and shall bypass the verbal warning. So number 1, verbal warning. Number 2, written warning. Number 3, a final written warning. Number 4, disciplinary suspension up to 3 days. And number 5, termination. On a one-time basis, all current employees will have the oldest accident currently on their record removed for purposes of determining future discipline. For purposes of this section, an accident is an accident or incident caused while operating a vehicle or piece of motorized equipment. An incident is an accident or incident that does not involve the operation of a vehicle or piece of motorized equipment. Events captured on drive cam which do not involve preventable accidents/incidents, life-critical rules, cardinal sins, or cell phone use will be treated as coaching, advising events and will not result in discipline under the above disciplinary track until the employee has been coached/advised twice for the same category or of event. All right, so hopefully that's clear. I think most of us know a lot of this stuff, but let's go to section 2. So section 2, cardinal infractions. The exception to section 1 above shall apply to the following termination offenses where progressive discipline need not be followed, meaning you could get in serious trouble if you break any of one of these offenses. They don't have to go by warning, verbal warning. They don't have to do that 4-step process. They could just immediately terminate you if they feel it's warranted. So these are the things. A, proven theft and or dishonesty. Proven theft and or dishonesty, including scavenging if proven theft. Okay, so stealing, that should be just common sense. But scavenging is a very, very, very serious topic, because that could mean anything that you take. Let's just say a customer is throwing something away. They're throwing something away. And you see it and you're like, wow, that's valuable. It's a bunch of bulky items out there. And you see something that you could use for your house. What the language says is that if you take that item and you bring it, if you take that item, that's called scavenging. That's called scavenging. And a customer catches you on a Ring camera taking something and they don't like it, and they call the company and they say, hey, this guy was digging in my trash, this guy took something from my property, and they show the company the video of you taking that item, or you come to the yard and the supervisor sees you taking that item outside of your truck, then that could be considered scavenging. So be very careful. Also, if you're at the dump and you sometimes you see that you go to the dump, meaning the transfer station or the landfill, and you see these things that are practically brand new. I remember working in the valley, and a driver picked up a celebrity's house. I won't say the celebrity's name. Roll off full of brand new sneakers, a bunch of clothes that this person had, brand new, nice, pristine condition. But if you technically take those items, any one of those items, and it's at the dump or it's at the customer site, you can get in serious trouble. B, failure to work as directed. That could be many things. That could be many, many things. You got to be very careful with that. That could mean, hey, I told you to do this and you didn't do that. That's kind of like an insubordination type thing. I guess when we get to the company book and we break down the company book and the rules, we'll have a clear definition of failure to work as directed. C, giving out route or billing information to any unauthorized person. So do not give out information. Let's just say you pick up this customer over here, and then there's another customer that's next to you, and one customer comes to you and says, hey man, this guy's stuff is just overflowing and is messy. Why don't you pick it up? And, you don't share with this customer the other customer's information. You don't say, well, hey, this customer didn't pay, or this customer's been suspended. Doing stuff like this, sharing that type of information, or billing information, or route information, giving just simply me just sharing an address where I work at, that could get you in trouble. It says willful, wanton, malicious, or unsafe conduct. So I guess that's self-explanatory. Malicious meaning like you got bad intentions. You come in here, you come to work, you just on one. You're just being, antagonistic. You're being very hostile and violent, right? Another one is reckless driving. Reckless driving, self-explanatory, right? Don't do anything. Don't drive crazy. Where you just don't give a damn about nothing. You're running stop signs. You're running red lights. You just don't care. All right. F, unprovoked assault while on duty, including lewd conduct or abusive conduct and language. So this is very important. Okay. This is why we're only covering section 1 and section 2 of this, because this is very important. All right. I see this a lot of times where there's a lot of horseplay going on between bargaining unit members, meaning they play a certain way. They think, hey, you know what? This is playful. Or they call people certain nicknames, or they play in a way that would violate this specific cardinal infraction, right? I see guys touching each other in ways that are inappropriate, right? I see guys saying certain language, calling people certain names with which are inappropriate and lewd. So you got to be very careful and very mindful of doing that, especially at the workplace, because it's all good until it's not. Meaning that somebody could today, they could be cool with you calling them that nickname. They could feel like, hey, it's funny, it doesn't really bother me. But in the event, let's just say they have something bad going on. Their mom passed away, or their dad, their father, or developed cancer. Their dog died. A pet that they love passed away. And you just so happen to come this day and say something that just threw them over the edge. With this, language says is that you can get fired for that. You can get in trouble for that. That's why they have an integrity hotline. Okay, so that integrity hotline is for anybody, and I'll post that integrity hotline up. If there's anybody feeling like, hey, you're being abused, or there's lewd conduct that you don't like, there is a number that you could contact. G, intoxication, drinking, or the use or sale of alcoholic beverages, or possession or sale or use of illegal substances while on the employer's premises or on or in an employer-owned or leased vehicle. So if what the language says is you cannot drink on their property. So take that for what you will. If you're drinking after work, if there's something that's involving alcohol or illegal substances, do not do it while on the employer's property or in an employer vehicle, meaning a pickup truck or any kind of vehicle. Do it outside of their property. Okay? Just so we're clear. H, carrying of unauthorized passengers, which means you see somebody, they know you. Hey, man, what's up, man? Hey, you know what? I'm going towards that way. That's a couple stops from here. You can't have that person hop in your truck and give them a ride. You can't have that person get in your truck and take them, or a kid, they're just so amazed by the trash truck, they want to get inside the trash truck. You can't have them get inside the trash truck and take a ride around the block or pick up a couple stops. That's unauthorized. I, fighting or possession of firearms or weapons on the employer's property or in the employer's vehicle. All right, guys. So there's some back in the day. I'm not talking about right now. There used to be drivers who would carry bats or carry certain things, you know what I mean, in their truck that could be considered a weapon. So if you have any of these things inside of your truck, you need to remove those things, because in the event that someone inspects your truck and they find these things and it's interpreted as being a weapon, that can be a cardinal infraction, and that can be something that the company can just immediately jump to termination or wherever they're going to take it, suspension, wherever, because it's a cardinal infraction. Fighting, meaning like, hey, look, what's up, homie? At lunchtime, we're going to clock out. We're going to do our thing. We're going to get down. We're going to throw chingazos, and that right there, you're doing that during lunchtime. You're doing that while you're on a company time. That's considered a violation, and you can be terminated. J, harassment. We're going back to the integrity hotline. Harassment as defined in Title 7. We already know what harassment is, but harassment can go both ways. Harassment can be somebody that it could be sexual, meaning it's a man that's harassing a woman and he's trying to come on to her. So sexual harassment could be It could be same sex. It can be harassment. Can be somebody joking around too much, and it's becoming unbearable and uncomfortable, which kind of goes back to what I was saying. When it says unprovoked assault while on duty, including lewd conduct or abusive conduct and language. So be careful what you say, but be careful how you say it and who you say it to, because these are situations where they can easily call the integrity hotline, and it can become a problem. It can become a big problem. Okay, so harassment, we all know what harassment is. K, willful damage to employer's property, meaning that you intentionally damage an employer's property. You get mad, the supervisor told you, yeah, go off of your route and you have to go over here. You got to go to this route now. So you go on another, when they tell you that, you get upset and you smash the time clock with a chair. Right? I'm just creating a scenario. But you're doing willful damage to an employer's property. You're doing willful damage to a truck. You're doing willful damage to anything that's the employer's property. They can take it there, and these could be immediate termination offenses. And the last one, failure to report any accident immediately. This one is crucial, guys. This is the intersection 2, but failure to report any accident immediately. Report every accident, because the thing is, if somebody reports that you damaged their property and they have proof that you damaged their property, and it's something that you didn't report, no matter how big or small, you could get in trouble and you could lose your job for that immediately. And I've seen a lot of drivers lose their job over that last one, failure to report any accident immediately. So report all accidents, no matter how big or small. And remember that a lot of these accidents, these are like tiny accidents. They're not like how it used to be back in my day where it was like 1, 2, 3. These accidents are more so categories. Like, all right, you had an accident involving property maybe 2 times. You had another accident involving a vehicle. That's 1 time. We're talking about a 4-step process. You should have enough. We have more than enough reason to just go ahead and call it in, because it just doesn't make sense to not report it, because it would take a lot of incidents where you've damaged property or you've damaged the things that I said earlier for them to come to termination. At the worst, you might get a suspension or a written discipline, right? But that's very important. The cardinal offenses, very important. And that concludes sections 1 and sections 2 of Article 6. So next video, we're going to be doing communication devices, and we're going to be talking about communication devices, and maybe that's it. But that concludes everything, and I'm out, man. Peace.